Hello, Mika. How are you, dear? Good to see you. You're number one today. What's going on? Hello, Reese. Today, you guys looks like you've been waiting for me. It's only about 20 seconds I came live. Yeah, you sure are number one for sure. Tiffany. Hello, dear. Good to see you guys here. It must be the right time as all four of you or three of you just so quickly joined in. Have you guys pushed the bell sign? Is that why you got notifications? And did you choose the always notify you? Because I think there's a couple of options there. Just notify me sometimes or notify me always. Oh, you're at the gym, Mika, doing cardio, and the Mehran bell went off. Left work early to relax a little. Good, good. Well, I didn't go to the gym yesterday because I was hurting all over. Because the day before, I was at the gym. Usually, I go 4 or 5 times a week, and sometimes I get lazy and just go for a walk on the beach, fast walk. It's an hour, go and come back. But the recovery, I guess the older we get, it becomes a little bit slower. I remember I would go to the gym for like 3 hours, do everything, and then was ready to go again, maybe never ending, or maybe even half an hour or an hour lunch. Then I was ready to go another 3 hours. Now, when I go to the gym, I still do a hard workout, pretty much just like before. And yet the recovery, everything hurts for a longer time than before. It never hurt. So I think I will, it's time tonight. I should go. The earlier I go, the better. Sometimes I go 11 or 12 o'clock at night because that's when I'm done with my stuff, or 10 o'clock at night. But when it gets late, then you know you have got lots of energy coming back from the gym. You can hardly want to sleep. You just want to do things. So good that you do consider a workout and keeping healthy and taking good care of yourselves. That's very important. Mind and body coordination both have to be taken good care of. A healthy body and also healthy mind by understanding our psyche and being able to meditate, bring and encourage more energy from the nature, have more conflux and interchange, and keep ourselves fresh. Utopia, hello Utopia, guten Morgen or guten Abend. You are in Germany, right? If I'm not mistaken. Tiffany says, I lost another 6 pounds. Good for you. Lost 21 pounds so far and doing it slowly like you suggested. Excellent. Yes, if you do it slowly, it becomes your conditioning and your lifestyle. If you do it fast, it'll be hard and making you impatient. Therefore, when you're impatient, you will not continue it. When you don't continue it, it won't become conditioning or lifestyle. You just want to get rid of it and eventually you give up because it's uncomfortable. So whatever you want to do good at and become good at it, or at least make it to be your natural default conditioning, do it methodically so it will come into your system. Like meditation, if you do 1 hour at the beginning or half an hour, you won't. You'll be tired, you'll be upset, you'll be anxious, you'll be impatient. But if you do 1 minute, well, you'll be fine. You'll do it 1 minute, and then you find it interesting, and you will maybe in a few days you do 2 minutes. Then you voluntarily you crave it. You say, well, 2 minutes is nothing. I want to enjoy this feeling of tranquility. So you do 3 minutes. And you find that you just don't want to come out of it. It's a place where thoughts leave the consciousness, and you're like, no, you're not here. That is when you enjoy to increase the minute to 2 minutes and 3 minutes. Wow, this was quite interesting. I certainly didn't want to come out of it now. It was amazingly beautiful. So, coming back to speed, meditation is very good. It makes you become one with the source, with the energy of the universe. Makes you feel connected, as we all are, but you become aware of that connection while you're totally unaware of anything. And you feel one with the nature, and you feel good. And the result would be afterwards, not just during of it. Afterwards, when you open your eyes, you feel like you weren't here. And you've got tremendous confidence and power that you didn't think exists. And these are what the mind power exercises are, meditation itself, on top of that extra new energy that brings to you. So combination of exercising, meditating, strengthening, relaxing, tuning up the mind, and gym work and workout to your level, the mind and body both will be fit and would be having a better chance to coordinate and be unified. Now, let's see what happened here while I was dozing off, or rather, not here for a second or two. Alessandro says, hi Mehran, Alessandro here. I was just passing by to hit the like button and say hello. Nice to see you alive and well. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm glad I'm alive and well too. Yeah. And I hope everyone around the world is safe and well, protected. Everywhere in the world, everywhere. And we know there are lots of man-made difficulties and challenges and hazards and dangers around the world, everywhere. Middle East, Africa, people with some Ebola attack again in Africa. Middle East, we have all kinds of challenges, dangers there. And I'm sure other places too, and often many other places have natural disasters and dangers, such as in some scale what's happening in Hilo, Hawaii. Kiawai, I think it's called Kiawai, I'm not sure if I can pronounce it. That's where the volcanic eruption is, and apparently last night they had eruption of ashes that were thrown in the air for 30,000 feet. And luckily it was raining and the wind has pushed it all away from the island. And many people in the immediate areas are getting respirators and all that. So I wish everybody be safe and well everywhere in Hawaii and elsewhere for whatever it is that they might be facing with. Well, so it is always good to have a moment of appreciation for where we are, what we are, and what we're doing, how safe our lives are, and so on. These are little things that can help you to see life in a different light, rather than focusing on the things that you might be thinking of them as devastating and stuff, where really devastations are not the day-to-day emotional challenges that we experience. And there are a lot more things happening around the world to people who surely we wouldn't even be able to endure what they're enduring. So hoping that our thoughts will be with all the people in the world who are having some challenges, safety, health, survival stuff, and wish everyone well, and hope all good people who intend positive effects on each other and the society and the world in general would be always safe, healthy, and enjoying their lives. Now that we have done our extending good positive thoughts to the world, let's see. Tiffany says, and changing my motivation to lose weight has put less pressure on me. Ah, good. I'm no longer losing it to attract that guy in Michigan. I'm doing it for myself and my health. Thanks for that advice. Yes, my pleasure. I'm glad that you're listening to it and being aware of it, because advice is only as good as it's being used and being actually implemented. Otherwise, lots of good advice, and you can even give yourself advice, but if you're not acting on them and turning it, advice, word, an idea into actuality to see the effects of it, well, then the advice is no good unless it comes to fruition, just like what you're doing. Alessandra says, can you do a guided meditation video? Well, I have a guided meditation video that I did in, I think it was 22 years ago. And it is on YouTube on this channel. It's probably one of the first videos I did. It was done in a studio. I paid them to rent the studio, and then they had the facilities for the microphones and recording and all that, and then they charged me to put some koto, Japanese koto music on it. And so everything was done. I got the receipt. That was 22 years ago. And when I uploaded on YouTube, some company came along and claimed the music. I said, I paid for this. It was a studio for recording artists, and they charged me for putting this music on for the rights. Anyhow, so they put an advertisement on it, and I didn't care about the advertisement, but anyhow, it's there. I think eventually, maybe someday, I'll just remove it and have the music taken out or something. It's funny, there's no record of it. How can you prove that you paid for this when somebody suddenly claims it? Anyhow, let's move on. And Aso says, hello, Mehran. Hello, dear. And we have Tony. Hello, Tony. Tony says, Mehran, my ex knows I still love her. How did she find that out? Recently, I left her alone for a while, and she sent me a message saying she loves me and for me to have a good life, like a move on type message. Is she messing with me? It doesn't matter what she's doing. It does not matter. The problem after breakup with people like you, or anybody pretty much, let's see what else you said. Oh yeah, that's some of this, is that you guys are trying to be reactionary. Like, what is she saying? What does that mean? Is she wanting me back? You see, you're always waiting to see what she wants, or if he or she, what he wants, whatever it is. But you forget about your judgment on this, your choice, your analyzation of the situation. Why is it that you're waiting to see what she wants instead of you making up your mind saying, hey, for this kind of a behavior, I don't want her back. I don't want a person who cannot be committed as I am. I don't want a girlfriend who simply decides, for whatever reason, goes away, and then maybe sending him a message, sending me this or that, making me think, and should I be thinking about? No, you make the decision. You say, this is over, I don't want it, I want to move on. Because this is not up to my standards. Simple. And how could it be up to your standard? Is your standard saying that you want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you? She's moved on and, you know, going about her life and her business, and then that's your standard? Obviously not. So if somebody, you're in a relationship and she leaves you, well, you should see it as it is and say, well, if my girlfriend leaves me, that is not the kind of relationship I'm looking for. Therefore, whatever reason it may be, I don't care for her to come back, because I make the decision. I'm the boss of my own life, and I want to move on to have a solid foundation that I could build my relationship on. Whatever this relationship was, whatever its duration was, thank you, it was good, it was an experience. But what it is now is not what it was. So if you start looking at what it is now after your breakup with the eye of the past and constantly look at it at how it was, therefore this, what it is not really what it actually is, because at one time it was that way and it was good and all that, that means you're missing the point. You're not really with the moment of your life. You're not living in the present. And you're not even seeing who she is today. You're looking at her thinking she's the same girl that you knew 5 years ago or 2 years ago, and the relationship that you guys had. She's changed. We're all dynamic. She's changed, and she's no longer that person. Therefore, look at her for what she is and who she is, and decide if you want to have a relationship with this person who obviously doesn't want to be with you. Would you want to be in a relationship with a person who doesn't want to be with you? Of course not. You want a girl who wants to be with you, just like you want to be with her. So look at it for what it is, and do not look at things from the eye of the past. Look at it with the eye of the now. The now I, we call it. I now, now I. With the now I, not I the past, and you will see it's just not up your standards. You will not prefer that. Go on. There's so many wonderful girls out there, wonderful women. Build something good, not try to resurrect the same thing on the ashes of what is no longer what it used to be. Just not logical. So it doesn't matter what she wants, what the message is all about. You just simply don't care about it. Move on. Don't worry about it. Worry about what you want, what you think, what you should do in order to push your vehicle on the road and on your way to experience bigger and better things. Asso says, I was talking to the person who told me that once a person is depressed or suffers from mental illness, it stays forever like that. What do you think? No. Who says that? Who said that bullshit? I'm not a doctor. However, I have common sense. It's no different than saying, you know, if you have a cold, a flu, it will be like that forever. Oh, no. You will find the remedy. And if the case is really serious, so your doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, so advanced these days, can help you. And if it's just a regular depression due to things that you've been experiencing, emotional things, whatnot, it will boil over eventually. Just like anything else, we have bad days and good days. For one reason or another, we may feel anxious or we may feel depressed, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay for you forever. I don't know who was the person who said that, and why do you buy into that? If you have a question of that sort, ask your doctor, ask your psychologist or psychiatrist. You know, you will know that answer is not is not a bona fide or credible answer. It's bullshit. So Asa says, what does it mean to have an emotional baggage after breakup? That means you're looking at things from the eye of the past, with the eye of the past, and you can't move on because constantly you're perceiving everything that is coming around with you. Like you're meeting somebody else, and instead of seeing that person as he is, you are actually bringing in the experiences you had with your ex-boyfriend, and you're thinking that the same things will happen or same problem this person has, and you know, you won't be able to be a good girlfriend, you won't be able to be yourself, you won't think of that person to be a different entity, and you will see him with the experiences that you had with that other boyfriend of yours or other situations. So you're carrying all these questions and emotional challenges and problems and experiences that you had before with you along. Just put that down and you'll see you can run faster, and you guys will have fun and judge that person on the basis of who that person really is, not on the basis of what's covering your eyes, and you're seeing that person through that scenarios that is in front of your eyes and covering the eyes between you and that person, not letting you see the actuality of that person, instead through a filter, and that filter is actually a smoky one, a shitty one. It's a filter with all kinds of old stories from your previous relationship. Tuta says, Mehran, you are to me like a father who I never had. Well, I appreciate the compliment, Tuta. It's very kind of you, and I hope that you're enjoying the channel and the videos, and I appreciate the compliment. Joe says, I'm 26-year-old, starting university in October. Well, first of all, Joe, thank you very much for letting me know that how old you are. And if you would have also let me know where you're tuning in from. And I'm thinking you're a man, because I'm not sure, I think we spoke before. Joper, but I think I remember you said I can call you Joe for short. But remember protocol, guys. Remind me where you're tuning in from, how old you are, and if you're a man or a woman. That helps me to put things into a good picture in my mind, who I'm talking to, where it is, what cultural backgrounds, because of knowing where you're tuning in from, possibly that can help me, or knowing if you're a man or a woman, how old you are. These are all going to help me to deliver what I want to say in a package that would be most effective for that background, that age, that gender, and so on. And he says, so I'm 26-year-old, starting university in October. In the meantime, I have a lot of free time, and I'm trying to think of something I could do with it, but nothing draws me. I've already traveled. Well, there you can always research things that you're interested in. All your experiences doesn't have to be physically physically encouraged. You don't have to necessarily get on a bus, go somewhere if you don't want to, or don't have the time for it, or you don't have that interest. But you can, walk the world on the internet and research books and things. There are lots of things that could fascinate you. Maybe you want to look at some ideas on the internet. Just surf through, think of some subject, and read a little bit about it. There's so many things: nature, agriculture, trees, atmosphere, universe, other planets, science, physics, practical stuff, chemistry, things that you would enjoy, philosophy, psychology, things about you. Why don't you pick up one of my books at Me, My Psyche and I, and delve into your inner self. Find out what center means. Find out what thought means. What is the relationship between thought and consciousness? How is consciousness put together? What is desire? What are the criteria necessary for desire to be born? How is it born? What is its effect on us? What is ego? How does that come to the picture? How do they all act and interact with each other? What has fear got to do with us? How do these ingredients affect the outcome of this final product? Me, the way I feel, the way I do things, who I am, the me. How is it put together? What is it influenced by? What is the role of all these things that I just talked about into how I feel, act, and react in my life? That is the machine that you really should know a lot about. And you know, the cost of it is probably like $6.99, $5.99, which is really, there's no financial agenda here, as you can see, because I have turned a $100 book into a $6 book by making it an ebook, so everybody can have. Because I had hundreds of people from India and other places in the world say, look, the difference between US dollar and rupees is pretty much, and $100 is lots of money here. We can't afford, not all of us, to have these books shipped there, and the charges, they're all in US dollar. And many other people from around the world said similar things, while I sold many of the books in print. But then I decided, okay, if I really want to help them, let's not have a real financial agenda here. So I turned them up, I spent money, turned them all into ebooks. All the conversion was costly. And then the ebooks, I offered them for $4.99 for Transient Thoughts and Me. Those are thoughts that appear in your head and you have nothing to do with them, and you wonder why they're there, where did they come from, what do they mean, do they define me, does it say anything about me, does it say about my preferences, what are these thoughts doing here, how to manage them, what to do with them, what they are. And then Me, My Psyche and I, which is 360 pages, lots of stuff in there, and that's about, the inner us. That's what, $5.99? And then the Breakup Pain Handbook, 600 pages, which is like less than half the videos that we have on this channel, which I turned them into a book at the time. That is what, $6.99? So these are, after PayPal and marketing charges and all that comes out of it, there is no financial interest here for me. We can all understand and accept that. So if I have done all that, that means I want you guys to all have a copy, definitely, of the Me, My Psyche and I. And the Transient Thoughts and Me is also a great book for the ones who have these thoughts, unwanted thoughts appear in their heads. So get Me, My Psyche and I at $5.99, and the other one, Transient Thoughts and Me, at $4.99, and keep them on your library. You'll be amazed how often you may want to know about yourself. You guys spend lots of time with many things, we all do, to learn about this machine and that toaster and that, I don't know, juicer and whatever it is, different machineries, or that car and this and that. We learn about all these things, catalogs, but you never look at the catalog that we have for ourselves. We don't know how we function. We don't know about meditation. We don't know about our mind. We don't know about our body that much. Well, many do, research their body and physical fitness and all that. That's good. But most of us haven't spent any time in understanding the other more important part, the other important part of our entity, the mind, the thought, the consciousness, the fear, the desire, the ego, the energy exchange with the universe. What is that energy coming from? How can I have more conflux and more of it in me, through me, pass through me? What does it do? The power of mind. We don't know any of that. The mind and body coordination is where we can manifest our total powers, but we only focus on the physical end. So In the meantime, Joe, go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and get me, my Psyche, and I. And whenever you feel like it, it's not like a book you have to read it all at once. Small chapters, short chapters, few pages here and there, different topics. And you will like to learn about yourself. And you will be stronger by knowing about your machine and how it functions. It's like you will have a shield and you will have this magical powers because you can understand what it is that makes you tick. And that gives you a certain assurance and confidence and power. So that's my suggestion. Of course, why not? And then let's see what we have here going. Mike says, oh, Mike, you have been away. Long time. Mike Murdoch. Hello, sir, from Maryland. I was wondering about something I have heard said, and it may make sense. That is, that men use love to get sex, and women use sex to get love. It's possible, but not all men and not all women. You can't generalize them, but definitely it has some merit to it. Yeah, often we call love, but it's not love. Do we really love her? Do we know what love is? How stupid is it that we call love making? In other words, we seem to understand love is the same as sex. That's not the same. Sex will give you that intimate feeling and that amazing feeling of nothingness while everything seems perfect at that moment of climax, at the moment of the height of the intimacy. But that's not love. That's a state of the frequency that it cannot be attained in any other experience in life. And that has its own purposes and benefits. But it's not love. You say you love her. Making love. Making love. How can you make love? If you're talking about love, you're not talking about sex. But people use the word making love for having sex, which is a kind of a polite way of making it, but saying it. But in reality, they have eventually conditioned themselves to think about sex and love to be the same. You have lust for someone, that's not love. That's when you want to have sex. And two consenting adults that want to have sex, that's up to them. But that's not love. When you say you love her, do you love her? Where does love come from? You got to know that person. You got to know her before you can love her. Do you know her? Do you love her? Do you know her? Or do you love what she does for you? Or you love what she makes you feel like? Or you love the fact that you get a little bit closer to that elusive psychological security when you are with your woman, with a woman. Through that emotion, you feel secure, you feel warm, you feel relaxed. Is that really loving her? Or loving her should be knowing her. What do you know about her? Do you know about her consciousness? Do you know about her conditionings? Do you know how her brain ticks? Do you know about her background, her preferences, her religions, how she reacts to stimuli of thoughts and things that happens in daily life? Each one of you could be facing with the same situation, but you would react differently because the field of your mind, your consciousness, is weaved differently. So it reacts differently. It's like a tennis ball. You hit it to a concrete wall, comes back in a certain way, and you hit it to a trampoline standing upside down, it comes back differently. You hit it to a tree or to a different surface of different material, it comes back differently because all those material respond to that same ball with the same speed thrown at it differently, because it is made of different material. The field of the consciousness of each person is also made differently with how it's been conditioned and the content of it. Therefore, it reacts and reflects the light that shines on it differently in different angles, shows differently. It could actually, the consciousness of each person, it's like a mirror, but these mirrors maybe have different linings and cracks in them. So the same light, the same object reflection from that mirror, because it has different cracks and breakups and patterns in it, it reflects back differently. The same as if we say consciousness of each person being a river, and because of its conditioning and the contents being differently and put together in different time and different experiences, through different experiences, therefore its field is got different cracks in it, different lines, different weaves. So the same object, the same light would reflect differently from this mirror of the consciousness of this person versus this other person. So all of that stops you from thinking that you really know that person thoroughly, because that's the only time that you can really say you love a person. Otherwise, you love what she does for you. You love how she makes you feel. So there are different love in the world too. Do you love the world? Do you love the people? Do you love safety for everyone? Do you love children? Do you want safety and health and proper upbringing for the children? These are love without condition. But you love your girlfriend and you want to have sex with her just because you see a pretty girl and you want to have sex with her. That doesn't mean you love her. You love having sex with her. I can understand that. That means you highly prefer and like to have sex with her. But that has nothing to do with loving who she is. Instead, it's loving what she can do for you. And vice versa. Guys for girls. So anyhow, I hope that you guys would be able to focus on learning about love. If you have a girlfriend, or whatever your relationship, you love your girlfriend, you better love her, not what she does for you. And to love her, you got to get to know her. To get to know her, you got to know her consciousness, not just how she looks and what she cooks or what she does or the ha fun stuff. Everybody going to disco coming out in love. That's not in love, that's in lust. So I hope you can tell the difference, at least in your next relationship. Before you fall in love, get to know that person. If you haven't gotten to know that new date of yours, don't say you love her. Get to know her first, and then you see if she deserves your love, if you guys are compatible, and if she loves you for you, or she loves you for what you can do for her, what you can provide. The image that she has created of herself can be fulfilled by having you in her life. That's not love. The image you have created of yourself, the idea of having a girlfriend, and then seeing her in the image you've created for you that you prefer, that's not love. That's fulfilling the image you've created of of yourself in the society. Having a girlfriend looks like that, walking with her, going to a restaurant or this and that. That's not love. It's a picture. You're in love with that image. You should go beyond that. Get to know that girl. Get to know your partner and love, and see if you can love that entity, that existence, find compatibility, and so on and so forth. Okay. We talked about that enough. Let's move on to Tutas is let's see, no. Mika says, Mehran, the ex and I live an hour away in different cities. I don't frequent that area because I have a lot of memories there. I have a doctor's appointment next week in that city. I'm dreading the trip there. Mika, didn't you say last time that you are with someone for 3 years and you were discussing, wasn't that you discussing that should you ask the guy to, is it time to commit or let you go, to move in together and stuff? I think it was you, wasn't it? So if that's the case, if I'm not mistaken, what do you care about the ex? Why should it bother you? It's a thought. All that memory that you have, it's a video of a movie that once was a theater and they made a movie out of that theater in action, and now it's a video of that movie that once it was real. They were playing it. They were actually making it. That was the only time that it was happening. Now that you're watching, it's a video of it. And you get the same emotions out of the video because it's all pictorial, and you remember or you look at them and you get affected by that scene. But if you remind yourself through watching that video that it's not real, it's not happening, it's just a movie, it's a recording of something that happened before, which even then they were acting it, and there's no reality, nobody got hurt, nobody is emotionally in danger or anything, then you bring yourself back to the present moment rather than letting the video take you into memory or bring the emotions that it represents and get you into a certain kind of a mood that you don't want to be in. By reminding yourself that this is a video. The same thing, when you go to that town to your doctor's appointment, just remind yourself that nothing's happening here. This, what you're thinking about this location, is a memory of that you've been there, and the memory files, which also contain the emotional files of that pictorial memory, comes with it, involuntarily comes with it. You simply should quickly, like the video, like the movie thing, remind yourself that this emotional file that I am now feeling, having come with the memory file of pictorials that I remember of this location, this area, this city, is not threatening me because it's not really happening. It happened once. I don't care. It's like saying I was cutting a carrot and I cut my arm or cut my hand, depending on how you're doing cutting the carrot. And now every time you see a knife, you say, oh, it's going to cut. No, it cut you because you weren't paying attention. You were cutting a carrot in the wrong angle and it slipped and it cut you. But the knife itself, it's not going to do anything because it's not happening. The carrot is not there. You're not using the knife to cut the carrot. Nothing is like how it was at once. And if anything, you've learned from not to cut the carrot like that anymore. And you're careful. So that location that you're going to go in, that city that you're going to go in, you should remind yourself while you're there that this has nothing to do with the past because I'm here. The past is not here. I am here. The past is not here. The past is a file. And I remind myself that file is a file. It's not the actuality. I am the actuality. I'm here. Nothing's happening. Nothing is threatening me. Nothing. It's not the past. I'm here. I'm beyond that. I'm aware of that, what it was. And I do not choose that to happen to me again. Not even with that ex, with anybody. Because I'm aware of it. And I know this is not new, this is not real. So then stay with the present moment and see it for what it is, not with what emotional files it brings to you. Therefore, you should be okay. Because you're aware, you're a sentient being, you're aware that it is not the past. It's a different time. And what you're remembering is the video of it. The video of it is not real, it's not actuality, has no value, and the emotion that it carries with it, you stop it. You say, I know, hey, I know. That's the emotion that is coming with the video, but it's not real. So I'm aware of that. You know? When the bear is trying to tear up that lost person in the jungle, you know it's a movie, that the bear is an actor. So you remind yourself, then you're kind of calm. You not get sucked in that whole emotion of the scene. The same thing here. You keep reminding yourself, huh, this I'm here for a doctor. This is new. Nothing to do with the past. It's a reality, it's actuality. Nothing is happening here. Nothing can bother me. I'm okay. I'm okay. That could be of some help to you, I hope. Mika. Jennifer says, he said he doesn't think he loves me, so I ended things, but I think he wanted me to end things. I want him to call me. Why? It's torture. And Jennifer continues, it's easy to say, do you want to be with someone who doesn't want you? That's where the pain comes from, them not wanting you. Yeah, but the question is, why would you want them to want you if they don't want you? Why? It goes back to your conditioning since childhood, of your consciousness, that you're not good enough. You've always been compared, and the fact that you need to be affirmed by the other's opinion about you in order to feel good about yourself. That's how you've been conditioning. It's not the way it should be. It's not the fact. It's not what you need, the other people's affirmation of you, but that's how you've been conditioned. When you know about that this is what you've been programmed to respond to ever since childhood, that smile made you feel good about yourself because it made you feel you've been good, because they've been telling you if you're good or not good. Somebody from outside had to always tell you if you were good or not good, if you're accepted or not, if you've done good or not, if you're more or not. So you've been encouraged to always be tuned in to what the others say, and if you are pleasant to them or not. And in order for them to want you, because you want them to want you, so you feel good about yourself, that's how you've been conditioning, so you got to be good to them. So this whole idea of being good to them and hoping that they will want to be with you, because not because you want them to be with you, because you want to feel good about yourself. And you think to feel good about yourself is if somebody wants you, because that's how you've been conditioned to think. To be good and more and worthy is if somebody else who's looking for himself to be worthy through other people likes you and thinks of you worthy or not. How stupid is that? You got to think, what is it that has conditioned me to think that I need this person to be with me, to want to be with me, and I to be with this person, so I feel good about myself? Why should you have to be tied down, dependent on something to feel good about yourself? Why can't you feel good about yourself? Because you want to feel good about yourself. Because you don't need the other people's opinion about you, so you can have a better opinion about you yourself. Why can't you just have an opinion about yourself? I'm good, I'm lovely, I like myself, and I like people who want to be with me. Otherwise, I don't care if they want to be with me or not. But if they do, okay, that's nice. Then I'll decide if I want to be with them or not. But instead, you're always waiting for someone to want to be with you. Then you say, okay, because he wants to be with me, then I want to be with him. Because he wants to be with me, then I want to be with her. Why? Why did you simply say, what about me? I choose. And I choose first to see if the person wants to be with me. If she does, then I see if she's qualified. Not that just because she wants to be with me, then it's a given. Then I want to be with her. Why? Because that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm important. That makes me feel like I'm affirmed. I'm confirmed. I'm worthy. Because I'm conditioned that my worthiness must come from somebody else's opinion about me. which that person himself or herself, worthiness is looking out towards other people's opinion about him or her. Why can't we all be independent? That I feel worthy because of my accomplishments, because of how I affect the society, the community in a positive way, because how I help things grow and advance in nature, in communities, in the world in general. My effect on life is as it's supposed to be, to help things grow and advance and develop, and not bring malice, bring good thoughts and positive emotions and energy to the nature, to the community, to the universe. And that is what makes me worthy or not. I don't need somebody else to tell me, because I would like to be my own standards of proper living and contribution to life itself, and fulfill my role in this life as it's designed to be. Not that I'm here to see who will affirm me, so I'm worthy to be here. No, I am here because I'm chosen to be here in this world, like every one of us have. Every time mom and dad went for procreation, or 300 million sperms, and only one became you. So how do you think you've been, how chosen do you think you are? Must be very, very chosen and important, affirmed and worthy enough to be here already. You don't need anybody else's affirmation. All you need to focus is to make sure you'll be a positive member of this community, of the world, and be able to extend positive effects to other people's lives and yourself and nature and so on as a whole. And that would be your mandate to complete this whole picture, that each one of us are the bits and pieces of this big puzzle that can be put together with every one of us and our good efforts. So, if you think that way, then you will be independent from other people's opinion about you, including relationships that you're waiting for someone to want to be with you to feel good about yourself. That's your conditioning, but not the way it should be. Take that conditioning, understand it, and move away from it. Then you will be free. I hope that was something for you to think about. Jennifer. Mandeep says, love from India. Thank you, Mandeep. Love from Canada. And all over the world to all of us. And Jennifer says, it's easy to say you want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you. That's where the pain comes from. Them no. Oh yeah, we just talked about this. So am I reading that again? Wasn't sure, because these questions come in pieces. Tony says, why is so hard to look with the eye of the now? It's really hard. Yes, because we're conditioned. Pretty much everything you see is second-handed. You see them for a second, and the minute you see them and you recognize what it is, you see a tree, you see a building, you see the tree, you recognize what it is. So far so good, it's now. But as soon as you recognize the tree, you get a little closer, you saw a certain kind of a tree like this a few years ago in such and such garden or wherever it was, then you're no longer here. Because you're constantly going to the field of the known, to your consciousness. Because in the field of the known, everything is known. When everything is known, there's a certain relaxing and security there. You know? Even the knowledge is limited, but in the field of the known, everything is known. There's no surprises. And that brings security. So you constantly see things, and you go in there, you bring that information with you back, and you overlay this information on what you're facing with, and you look at this thing with the information you had in the past, and that's why you miss the actual life, because you're no longer with that thing. I see a building here in front of me, right in that building, there's memories, things I've done in that building. It's a place I buy fruits and things. So I look at the building, I don't see the building. I see the building to the recognition level. And then right after that, it's all about the things that I've experienced in that building. The pastries I bought, the food I bought, the fruits that I bought. So we're conditioned to constantly live our lives through our consciousness. As I said before, it's like having that virtual reality goggle on, which limits the frame of our field of vision and makes us think that all there is what's in the virtual reality goggle. The movie that you're watching is all there is in that virtual reality goggle. And that limits our vision and makes us believe that's the whole world. And the consciousness is acting the same way. It's like the virtual reality goggle makes us have a limitation of our information, a limitation of our field of vision, and it only expands through this field of the known, the consciousness, and limits the world for us rather than let us explore and know, be aware that there's a lot more into the universe, into the life, than what we have accumulated in this consciousness. So we gotta learn how to let the mind out of the consciousness so we can see what's out there. Because as soon as you take the virtual reality goggle off, you see, holy macaroni. This is the movie that I was so infatuated or affected by, falling off the cliff, or flying an aircraft and feeling it as if I was really doing it, was because I couldn't see anything else, and I thought that is the whole world and there's nothing else exists. But when I take it off of my head, I can see, oh, there's so many other things, roads, people, opportunities, things out there. I'm no longer scared because there's so much more out there for me to explore, and I'm not limited to that, believing that limited portion of what I see is the whole entirety of the thing that I'm living in it. The consciousness, that's what it does. Makes you think the whole infinite opportunities and existence of this life with a limited amount of vision, and therefore you're seeing the whole infinite expansion of the universe of life with the limited version. So you're seeing the whole with the limited. You think the limited is the whole, but only you're seeing the whole through that limited field of vision, not that the whole is actually the field of vision that you're watching. You should be always aware that what you're watching is not the whole thing. There's something more is to come. What it is that you're experiencing is not how the whole thing is. Everything changes. And that knowledge will help you to know that knowledge is always limited. Whatever it is that you're using to negotiate life is limited. And therefore, it is not that you're in contact with the whole thing. You're only interacting and negotiating with a portion of life that your consciousness is allowing to be aware of. Get your thoughts and mind out of your consciousness, then you'll be able to see the whole entirety of opportunities of life and world. And then you will not be so bogged down with so little things, including the things that you cannot see because you're looking at them with the eye of the past, having covered over what you're trying to find out and learn, but it doesn't let you because you're constantly perceiving what you're seeing instead of getting out of your consciousness, getting out of the field of the known, and only using that knowledge in your consciousness in order to recognize things so you can then go on further into what the actuality of them is, not to get stuck in that level of information that you're limited by its availability and existence in your consciousness. Hope that would be something for you to think about. Keko, that's a new name. You've never been here, Keko, right? He says, I think it's a he because your picture is a he, but remember guys, the protocol was where you're tuning in from, how old you are, if you're a man or a woman, so I can know a little bit about a person that I'm chatting with. He says, I'm looking for a wonderful girl. The world has plenty, so I hear. Okay. Aso says, Mehran, you should make an application or a t-shirt and you put I now I on it. Okay. Well, actually, you know, I did have a shirt project with this company that I bought one myself and never delivered, and then I said, well, I don't want to do business with them. But I think what do you guys think? I mean, would that, do you think, help the channel? Would there be enough people interested if I deal with some company, reputable company, that I have my sayings that you can choose, like out of 7 sayings, you can choose one, and they will print it on the shirt with the logo of the monk sitting in the waterfall, and underneath it, it would be the saying and my name signed under the saying. Those t-shirts would be, I think, something novel, but I don't know if people would be interested. I will still have to do some thinking about it. Mandeep says, I love a girl, she loves me too. I waste a lot of time in maintaining relationship. I don't want to leave her, but my career is spoiling. What to do? I don't understand. You have to make a choice between her and your career? Is that what it is? Is she from this planet? Or she expects you to leave the career and go and love her and live with her and live on dry bread? You still need money to live somewhere, to eat. So if she doesn't understand that career has got its priorities as much as the other stuff, if not more, because it brings the necessity, I don't know, maybe you want to discuss with her and make her understand that, look, for you guys to be able to enjoy your relationship, you gotta be able to put your hand in your pocket and be able to pay for tea or coffee or food when you go out or don't go out, to have a place to live eventually. So if she's just not understanding that, then best to focus on career, because that kind of a woman is not going to be helpful in building a life. Instead, they just want to enjoy life by, as long as you have some money, and if not, then they not enjoying it, and who knows what happens next. But if she's not, then you talk to her and say, listen, you know, that's the time that we have at this stage of life. I have to focus on my career, and I don't want to lose you, but at the same time, I don't want to be a loser when I'm with you and not having a, you know, a pot to piss in, and not be able to pay for tea or take you out or take us out or go on a vacation or do something or build life. So I have to bring a balance to that. So I wonder if you're committed enough to be able to hang around, or you're going to be jumping around here and there if you find somebody who's got a more financial capabilities. So you got to talk about these things and come to some kind of understanding, and you know your way, and you make your decision and you move on if it's not working out. Lottie says, when I feel stressed, I make these stupid little mistakes. Maybe get myself in model of the model or middle of things, or model of things. I want not to have a stress make me make mistakes. How? Well, you know, simply stay away from the things that make you stress, because there are some things that makes you stress. The stress is not when you're sitting down on your couch and having tea. The stress is when you're actually involved in stressful stuff, which means you got to recognize which ones are they, which stuff are stressful, and get yourself out of them. Disassociate yourself with those people, those actions, interactions, or those activities. Or are you stressed when you're sitting and having tea because your thoughts are constantly going and moving to the past or conjuring up something in the future, and creates this anxiety in you for things that haven't happened yet and may never happen if you're conjuring up something in the future, or for the things that have happened before and they're no longer happening, they don't even exist anymore, but the memory of it is making you stressed. So if that's the case, you understand to look at things with the eye of the now, be with the present moment, focus on the now, the living now, not with the past. Past doesn't exist. Past is dead. There is no danger coming from the past. All the danger, if there is any, is in the now. Focus on the now, and therefore be able to manage that whatever it is that could be of importance or concern at the now, so you can take care of that, manage that, and stop thinking that something that hasn't happened now will happen for sure, which is not even here. As we said, life is like a river. From one end, the mountainside, let's say, the river is coming down, and you are here, and the river passes by you, in front of you, and continues onward, downwardly. The part that has passed you by is the past, is already gone. You can't reach it. You can't do anything to it. You can't have any effect of it, and it can't have any effect on you anymore if you focus on the fact that you're not moving with the past. You can't be moving. The past is gone. That water is gone. The one that is just moved to your right is the past. The part that hasn't arrived to you is coming from the mountainside towards you, but hasn't arrived to you. You can't do anything about it. You can't know what's in it. You can't reach into it, pick up something from that water that is coming towards you. You can't even know and recognize what's bringing. It's not clear. So that's the future. It hasn't happened yet. You have no control on it. Don't worry about it. Just prepare to enjoy and focus on what is passing by, the water that is passing by in front of you, in front of your feet. That's the one that you can put your feet in. That's the one you can go in and dig in and get something. Maybe it's a fish. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's garbage. You can pick it up and throw it out. Maybe it's some good thing. Maybe you can put your hands in front of it, the water passing you by, and splash it over and get your hands with and interact with that. That's the only part of the river that you can interact with. That's the now. That's the life that you should be focused on. The one that hasn't arrived, it's your future. You can't have anything to do with it. You can't even know what it's bringing, what's in it, what it contains. The water that has passed you by, it's gone. That's the past. It can't do anything to you. You can't have any control on it. It's dead. It's non-existence. You don't need to worry about that at all. Focus on the water that's in front of you. That's the way of the river, and that's the one you can make changes to that water, to change its direction and do things with it and interact with it if you so wished and thought it's appropriate. So, if you can understand that, then your thoughts would be with the present moment when you're sitting on the couch and having tea. Then you will actually be with that tea and drinking that tea and that moment and looking at things and be living in the present moment. And also do meditate. Meditate takes your mind out of your consciousness, brings total relaxation for you, and gets all those stresses out, because you won't be thinking about them. And when you don't think about the stresses, stressful situations and thoughts and things and happenings, then you won't be stressed, because it is the thought that brings the stress. Correct? Whatever we feel and whatever we do, the thought does it first. And many things that we feel is because of the way we think, therefore we feel it. There is a video that I have, it's 50 minutes, and there's short version of it, which they're just short version, but they're not, you will not understand the complete concept of it. It's a seminar I did in the local university a couple of years ago. It's called The End of Fear. It's on the video, it's on the channel, The End of Fear. You go on that, watch that, and understand the relationship between thoughts and fear, and understand your willpower, your power of mind, understand the living in the moment, and you understand all these that brings you these fear and anxieties. It all comes from your thoughts, and you will have a better idea to help yourself to understand these sort of day-to-day normal living anxieties, fears, and so on, and how you can manage it and understand it through that video. I think it's interesting and worth checking it out. Now, Jennifer says he's 38 with no job, by the way. Let me see, Jennifer, where did you... So you actually hanging around for the attention of someone who's got no job and who doesn't want to be with you, but you feel it's necessary for you to feel that the guy wants you. Are we not having enough self-esteem here, or am I missing something? I think you should focus on who you are, what you should be focused on your life and building your life, rather than wondering who wants you, who doesn't want you, regardless of if what they are and if they have a job or not. Just focus on the fact that you should be in the driver's seat, not who wants you, then you feel good about yourself, and who doesn't, that would be the reason for you not feel good about yourself. That's just not the way it should be. So move on from that train of thoughts. Jennifer says 35, of Irish woman from Ireland. Okay. Tuta says I'm from Serbia, I'm 29, thank you. Keko says 34, Dominican, Boston. That means you're from Dominican Republic and you live in Boston. Am I correct? Ayush says, hi Mehran. Hello Ayush. Oh boy, I should be faster. There's so many questions here. Keiko says, I'm sorry, what's the book's name? The book's name, Keiko, is Me, My Psyche, and I. Go to my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, and you'll see picture of the books. Click on them, look at table of contents, then click on them. It will open and you can read a sample chapter of each one of the books and see which one suits best for you. Ayush says, how to manage yourself when you and your ex are in the same class and place. How to face her if she is with another guy. How to control my emotions to not doing silly things like stalking her. Well, you just asked 3-4 questions, and for that you need to make an appointment with me for a Skype consultation. Short of that, another suggestion for you is to look at the previous times that I addressed this question of yours, which was pretty much the same. And if it wasn't you, I have videos on this channel, which is now over 1,000, which about 900 of it is already listed. The rest of them are scheduled to be released. But over 1,000 videos, pretty much anything you think about comes through your mind about your breakup, and after your breakup, you've got a video of it. So go on this channel and search in, running into my ex, or something like that. When I see my ex, something like that. I am in the same class with my ex, in the same company with my ex, something like that. You will always see there are some other videos coming. That will be more efficient to address it than just going about another hour just discussing these bunch of questions. So, Tuta says, Mehran, what you can tell me like an older man? Thank you for the bloody compliment. Than me with some life experiences, something about life and what I should do now in my age. I'm man 29 years old from Serbia. Tuta, so you want me to squeeze down 63, almost 63 years of my life and experiences and learning and research and give it to you in one sentence. That's rather interesting. Well, that reminds me of this joke, which I hope that it could bring some smile to your things. But you know what, it's not, maybe it's true, maybe it's not a joke. It was something that, you know, there was this old king that gathered all his court and all his ministers and scholars and said, go bring me the wisdom of the world. They all got shocked. They said, holy macaroni, wisdom of the world, that's not, you know, easy to do. What is he talking about? So anyhow, they had the decree, royal decree. They all went, and about a year later, they came in. They said, sire, we got it. We got the wisdom of the world for you. A stack of paper this tall, you know, this much. And the king looked at it and says, too much. Too much. Shorten it. They looked at each other, all the scientists, all the ministers, and all the professors of the time. They all went. Another 6 months, they shortened it. They came in, said, sire, your highness, we got it. Now that big thing is now this much. A booklet this thick. He said, too many pages. Shorten it. They looked at each other. They went another 6 months later. They came back with 1 page. He said, sire, we got it. Your highness, we got it. 1 page. Wisdom of the world. 1 page. The king looked at it and says, too many words. Cut it down. They looked at each other and said, what can we do? They went another 6 months. They came back with 1 sentence. 1 sentence. Said, sire, we got it. 1 sentence. It's wisdom of the world. 1 sentence. Now here it is. You might want to write it down so you won't forget it. King looks at it, says 1 sentence. There's no free lunch. That was the sentence. So you want all that wisdom and experience, you got to go through 60 years and figure it out. I'm not going to be able to put that. I'm not those scientists and those professors. I can't put all that in 1 sentence. But the closest we can come in all situations is that. There's no free lunch. Meaning, through experience, you will learn exactly what you're looking for. And there's so many things that you're looking for. There is no one thing that can actually condense the whole experience of life. And these experiences are always different for different people. But the only thing perhaps one can say is be patient, persevere, focus on what you want to attain, prepare for it, research for it, learn it, don't bullshit it, and actually learn it, and then you will prevail in everything and anything that you want to accomplish and make out of yourself. Perhaps that was my 1 sentence for you today to tell. David says, hello from Texas, male, age 23. Hello, David. Good to see you. Glad that you're here. Asso says, most of us are 23 years old. Yes, that looks like the demographics for me. Nathan Stanley. That's a new name. Have you been with us before, Nathan? Or have I forgotten you? Nathan says, I'm 27 years old. If you're the one who broke up twice and you think you didn't have enough time to develop a better bond, she doesn't trust me that I won't leave again. Should I move on? Well, you have 2 choices. You can either move on and believe that she doesn't believe in you. In other words, allowing her to tell you who you are, if you should believe in her or not. Or if you really think there's some new developments that you're looking at her differently, or you're looking at yourself differently, and your standards are changed, or your acceptance or understanding of her is changed and developed, and therefore you think she's the one for you, then you can stick around and prove it to yourself and to her that you will stay with her. But you got to find out, why is it that you want to stay with her, and why is it that 2 times before you left her? If you can really intelligently discuss that with yourself, why is it that you want to be with her? Is it because you're lonely? Is it because you don't have a better option out there? Is it because you're in a low point of your life? Is it because the work or money things don't go well? Is it because you feel vulnerable in a way of your economic hopes and goals? Is it because you feel it's a person that you know and therefore you feel comfortable by cuddling there with her, feeling sorry for yourself, and at the same time feeling that this is what you deserve because there is no better, or you're down in luck and you need her? Do you need her or do you love her? Do you think she fits your standards, or do you want to be with her because you need her? There's no better option. Do you love her for who she is, or do you love her for how she makes you feel when you cannot get that feeling somewhere else, or just simply be feeling good on your own? Now, these are the questions you got to ask and be fair to ourselves. What is your motivation? You want to be with her? Selfish reasons, so you will feel better, or are you there to build something together? And then you can make the right decision, I think. Ashish says, okay, talking to Nathan. Bernard Horn says, yo, hello Bernard. Nathan says she loves me, wishes the breakup didn't happen over the course of 5 months. She has reached out to me multiple times, but can't commit to trying again. I feel as if I blew my chances. Well, okay then. Maybe so. Maybe so. I'm not sure. I don't know what has gone there. I don't have enough information. But you gotta search inside yourself and see what it is that you want from her. Why you there? Is it for you to feel good, or you want both of you feel good and build something together? You know, just like I said before. So check it out. Kalani says, my brother man. Hello Kalani, how are you? Mahalo, aloha. I'm quite concerned about Hilo. I'm quite concerned about Kaiuie. I think that's what the crater is called, Kaiuie. Am I right? There was a big explosion, I guess, last night. 30,000 feet up in the air, ashes. Luckily, rain and wind pushed it down and away from people. But still, I hope that it will subside and ends. They say there's going to be a bigger one coming. I hope it's not true. And I hope it just subsides and becomes quiet. El Haj says, hello sir. Hello El Haj. Nathan says, Indonesia 27 male. Thank you, Nathan. David says they would be novel, but I don't know if the shirts would increase views and or subscriber. No. It would just maybe help with the money for the channel to do some other things, advertisement and so on and so forth. El Haj says, I am 23 from Minnesota. The girl I have seen in I've been talking to from New York. She go 3 days without talking to me. Then she calls me and says that she misses me, but I don't believe her because she's always active on Facebook, but don't pick up the call. Okay, then just cool it with her. If you guys talk every day, but there's no physical connection following it up, one of you gets tired of it or finds it useless. It could be you or it could be her. Maybe that's why she doesn't answer to end it, but then she misses you and she calls back and so on. So just take it for whatever it is. Obviously, you're not busy in your town. You're not finding something suitable for you, and you're hanging on this long distance nonsense that you think is going to be turning into something. If it wants to turn to something, she better come and visit you, or you go and visit her and put some faces and physical interactions to the relationship by going to a cafe or going to a, I don't know, wherever you guys like to, a park or a restaurant, and interact personally and see if you guys are right about thinking about each other the way you think right now, or simply it's all just a good way of passing time. And then make a decision on that. Mimic Maya says, Mehran, after 7 months after the breakup, I feel better. Hey guys, before I continue, please click on like before you forget, and make sure you don't forget any video that you watch, like it. We need more and more encouragement for others to see that the value in the contents are there by your certain signals to that effect. He says, after 7 months, he says, 7 months after the breakup, I feel better, but what to do against the before the breakup timeline? It's like when some friend is telling a funny story in the past, the first thing I ask myself is, was I still with her in this moment? Or was that in the time when we already broke up? I don't understand. And who cares? You're focusing on that too much. Just see the joke or anecdote or whatever it is for that what it is. If it makes you laugh, pleasant, react to it. If it doesn't, let it go. Don't think about it much. Don't try to investigate. Now, the Scotland Yard coming to investigate. Was I there when this joke, as actually the time of it, the timeline was happening? Who gives a shit? Move on with your life. Live with the now, present. The now I. The now I, not the I of the past. Focus on that. Live your life. Don't waste it in the past bullshit. Was I there? Well, who cares? You were, you weren't. How do you feel now about that joke? That's it. Either laugh it off or just move off. Don't worry about it. Don't make a big deal out of these things. Mimic Maya says, it's like a border in my lifeline after and before the breakup that makes me sad when I am happy, and when I randomly remember, oh, at that time I was still with her. I hope you know what I mean. Yeah, I know. It's all bullshit. Because what you're doing is simply trying to make the time you were with her as the best time of your life. That's because you haven't had any of the experiences that awaits you in the future. And now comparing to what it was in the past, that time era seems to be the best part of your time, best part of your life. And you're comparing everything with that. It's like you had some wonderful, delicious food, which you didn't have as delicious food as that before you had that meal, and you haven't had any more delicious food in the future that you will have, but you haven't had it because the future is not here yet, and you constantly think that food was the best in the world. Well, it was the best in the world because you didn't have anything better than that until then, but you haven't had the other kind of food available that you haven't gotten to it yet, which you will. And yet, you've decided that this, therefore, is the best of those. No, it's the best until now. And since it's no longer even now in actuality, then it's not even should be considered as the best time of your life, as part of your point of reference. Why? Because it's no longer in existence. It's the food you ate. And the food that you ate and is no longer in front of you to eat cannot satisfy your hunger better than the food that is in front of you, but it's not what you did have once before. The food that is in front of you, which is, I don't know, a hamburger or French fries or piece of meat or just a simple sandwich or whatever it is, a simple food in front of you that's far more valuable and necessary and should be appreciated than the one that you ate 2 days ago and was elaborate food, but it's no longer here, has no actuality and reality to it, cannot help you with the hunger of the now. So the one that is in front of you, no matter what it is far more valuable than the one you had, that elaborate food, a month ago. Because that a month ago one is dead, non-existence, is no good to you, cannot do anything to you. A memory cannot be food. The food in front of you is the actual thing that you should appreciate, focus, and enjoy thoroughly and get your nourishment from it. That's the one that is the best food now. You focus on that timeline, on that food. That's the one that needs and deserves your attention. That's the reality. That food. Learn to enjoy and appreciate that food in front of you. Say, yummy, I love it. Why? Because that's the only real thing. That's the only thing that's going to help you stay alive. The one that you ate 2 months ago is not going to help you stay alive now. That helped you then. That's it. Finished. Don't bring that over here. It has no value here. Worth nothing. What's worth is what's in front of you. The reality. So the timeline that is worthy for you is now. I don't care what bullshit you got in your head about that timeline. Was I there? It was nice. Or you want to live in there? Is that going to give you an actuality of life? If you live in your memory, it's the same as saying, oh, I used to have a steak this thick, or this vegetarian food, it was so delicious. Who gives a shit? It's not even here. This is the only food that you have in front of you. You better love this. Get the nourishments from that. That's the one, your friend. That's the real friend. That food, not the one that doesn't exist. Understand that. Live your life now. What it was, nonsense. Doesn't exist. Therefore, has no value anymore to your present needs and life quality. Mimic Maya. All right. Utopia says, I don't understand why, because I don't think I insist too much if I want to be with someone who cares for himself and his life. That's right. Then you should. You should insist and have standards and see if a person is good enough to qualify to be with you, because it's got qualities that you know you should watch for, expect, and request to be a good addition to your life. Okay, looks like I have caught up with all the questions, and now it's time for me to say thank you for being here, guys, and I appreciate your time sharing it with me. I hope it was as pleasant and useful for you as it was for me. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Be good to yourself, to the others. I look forward to talk to you again. Remember to share the videos that you like on your social media, like the videos that you like, and talk to your friends about this channel. Talk to you guys soon. Be good to yourself and to the others. And again, I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you.